Yeah, Mom, do you ever think about how relationships between humans that they may not require so much attachment, even though like we're good at attachment? Or he says maybe the word's not attachment, maybe it's connection.
Mm-hmm.
Like in the human relationships that we want to. Is he pacing? Or you just kind of turn in his. Did I'm not saying everything?
He's going into philosophy mode.
Yeah, come back. Um, maybe the word's not. He says, I want to think of the right word because I want to bring it up. Because the more I look at suffering and pain and hurt, it is because we feel we have a sense of responsibility or control or ownership over something or someone else. And that when it breaks or goes away, then we're left with a hole, with something that's not complete. What if it were that we had relationships between people, we got to connect, but there was no sense of responsibility or ownership or owing it to somebody? What do you call owning it to somebody? You mean owing? To owe someone. What would you call that? To
Indebted?
indebted. In debt, to be in debt to someone. He's yeah. What if that was totally obsolete? What if we taught our kids, like me, how to have a relationship with someone and not feel as if who you are and what you're doing or contributing is based on the other person being there or showing up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There is a, do you mean Tibetan? It's okay. Tibetan monk? Are you looking at Buddhism? Okay. He really likes the Buddhist lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
He's looking at it,
Mm-hmm.
learning, observing,
Mm-hmm.
as if he were learning or observing, as if he were still Griffin as a person.
Right?
Like, how could that apply to him? That's how he's
Right?
seeing it.
Right? Because we don't own anybody, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, Mom, right. And this guy says that if you're suffering, it's because you have created a belief system that you're responsible for whatever that thing is. Like
Mm-hmm.
if we have no ownership over anything,
Mm-hmm.
then we wouldn't feel the suffering if whatever we were working with or who we were in a relationship with did something that we didn't agree to.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, I don't know if I could have lived my life that way,
Mm-hmm.
but I look at it and I don't even know if I wasn't old enough to understand it. But I think
Right.
it's a great concept to talk to people about because it's like how our relationship is
Mm-hmm.
right now.
Mm-hmm.
You don't you don't own me. You can't guide me, you can't feed me, you can't do anything like that. And then I can't really do anything like that for you, but we have this great ability to love each other, to
Mm-hmm.
communicate and to stay into contact. And no matter what happens on either side, like it's not going to trigger some kind of huge grief or suffering or
Mm-hmm.
being indebted.
Mm-hmm.
I like this. You're having like this wonderful aha moment.
Right.
Because I think it's something to really give to our readers and people as possibly one of the best gifts that you could give to somebody is that you love them with no labels and no strings attached, so that no matter what they do, all you will feel from them is the love that's still there, because that's the thing that he keeps pointing to the camera. That's the thing that we get to keep through life and death, and across those dimensions. That's the thing we get to keep.
Right, because they say, it's been said probably by a Buddhist, I can't think of who at the moment, all human suffering is caused by attachment, thinking that you own things. And
That's
yoga,
the one.
right, and yoga is based on the principle of letting go. Because, we all die, and some people are better at putting it aside than others, thinking it'll never happen. And they don't want to hear my stories about Griff, and they don't believe. And I don't know, maybe some people just want to pretend they're going to get out of here alive. It's just so scary for some people to talk about death. And I feel blessed with Griffin, if it's possible, that he died so tender at 18. There was nothing left unsaid. And I'm really thankful for that. Like, he knew I loved him, and I knew he loved me. And I think that's kind of like when I found a medium, our relationship just kind of took up where it left off. Even though he's not physically here, and he's got to share a lot more wisdom with me. He was always a wise soul and always philosophical while he was here. I remember when he was in rehab, Rob Reiner's kid was in with him, and he's brilliant, and said, there's really something special about Griffin. When he talks, people listen. And I feel that he's just deep that way. And I get what he's saying, that if we could just love people without owning people and without the attachment, there'd probably be a lot less pain in the world.
There'd be a hell of a lot less pain.
Yeah, because we
Can you
don't own
imagine?
anyone. Yeah.
He just walked away. He's doing something. I don't know what he's doing. He's got a big idea again. His arms kind of go up like this, and then he'll kind of walk away, like getting it together. Enlightenment. That's what enlightenment. Mom, enlightenment. When there's so much conversation right now, his arms randomly up. Sorry.
It's okay.
Enlightenment. So many people are talking about enlightenment and increasing vibrations. Oh, we're going to this dimension and that dimension. And, my whole line of thinking here with providing healing and gifts to people is that we up their level of joy.
Absolutely.
Right, less pain. You just said less pain, and that right there, that got me thinking, because when we look at Earth from here, the masses of people who get together and they think the same thing, they feel the same thing, whether it's masses of people in a church, whether it's masses of people at Standing Rock, high five on that,
Amen.
Standing Rock, whether it is masses of people, watching the same movie on one night. You're going through those kind of emotions and releasing them at once. It is changing the Earth's vibrational field. So when we start thinking about enlightenment, it's really coming from masses of people doing the same thing at the same time. And if you imagine, we are helping people understand that they can live life without attachments. Attaching yourself to somebody doesn't mean that you love them. That's not the part of definition of love. That's not it. Loyalty is not even a definition of love either, but that's something else that we're going to grow into. And when we release that kind of amount of pain and people start experiencing more joy, all of a sudden it's going to feed the earth to raise its vibration higher. And then people are going to start saying, oh God, I got more anxiety or I got more this or whatnot. He goes, but that's not it. It is the earth raising their vibration, and then all the people on the earth are trying to get used to that raised vibration. But we're becoming better people. Even
Mm-hmm.
if, even if marketing, the market, do you mean marketing? Media. Even if the media is overly focused on people who aren't doing or saying the most supportive things,
Right.
so we start highlighting, which I think has been happening for a long time. They only show the crappy shit on TV so they can increase ratings. They're not showing the great stuff.
Right.
Great stuff doesn't pull people to be great people. It's the shitty, shitty shit. No, it's fine. It's the shitty shit that drives people to change their ways and be better people because they want
Mm-hmm.
to persevere through it. You don't have to
Right.
persevere through good stuff.
Right.
But I'm saying this in a roundabout way because when we provide more joy into the earth raises her vibration, we become enlightened,
Mm-hmm.
and then the darker shit gets highlighted by media because there's not a lot to hold on to.
Right.
And then that again is going to raise our vibrations because we're going to come together as a community and really rally to appreciate and rally to accept.
Right.
But I think we need to be in a position, Mom, we as in you and I, as the blog,
Uh-huh.
as into helping people understand that there is some kind of acceptance needed for the end result.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's never probably going to be a real end result, but like when we get to a level of happiness, when we start to be able to live our lives like this by
Mm-hmm.
letting go and not being attached
Mm-hmm.
and having acceptance, that it's okay. Like, we don't need to create chaos to have something to do. That's what I mean.
Absolutely, because love has no boundaries, and love, you can love someone through divorce, you can love someone through almost anything if you're open to it. But the key is acceptance, what you brought up. If you can accept things, you can love. It's trying to twist and turn and make people be who you want them to be because you think you own them, that blocks that. Otherwise, if we accept people for who they are, we could love almost anybody.
That's phenomenal.